How we doing, family? It's a bit windy outside today, but this video that I had, by the way, this view is amazing. I gotta show you. The sun kind of gets in the way, but it don't matter. I'm sitting outside the van right now. Got the doors opened up. But we're gonna be talking about the Rockefeller school system of indoctrination and just my perspective on it. I have some gematria too that I researched, and that's gonna be like the basis of what we're looking over, besides the one quote by John D. Rockefeller. Excuse me. When he or she said, because that goes into the whole gender inversion, which majority society wouldn't understand. And you see my dog right there. She wants to go on a walk, but we gotta make a video first. Majority of society won't understand for, I can't say when, that's not my place to say when, but for a while. I feel like, and my hair is all messed up from the wind, but I don't really care. It's about the message. It's not about the how I look, because it doesn't matter to me. To a point, it doesn't matter. I'll talk about my perspective on school for a little bit. Growing up, I always felt this intuitive feeling of not fitting in with school, the school system. I always felt that, and I would make up myself being sick. Sometimes I actually was sick, but I would make it up to my mom, and then I would go home early. I eventually got into counseling because I was leaving school so much, and I tried to sit him back, bro. I tried to harm myself a couple times, 2 times, from not only from being in school, but we're gonna get into this topic later about the vagus nerve. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Vagus nerve. Vagus, V-A-G-U-S, nerve. School, not only school, but just society in general and how we're living upside down, invertedly upside down. Sorry. But when we're talking about the vagus nerve, all of the systems within our vessels that it affects. Ooh, it's so windy outside, but I'm still trying to get this video out because I got to. We'll get into the vagus nerve later. I was about to start reading it, but I want to get into the gematria first, and I'll have an image somewhere on the screen of what I'm saying and the ciphers of the gematria. Just in my head. So the first one I got was Mecca, Satan's playground. If you don't know what the Mecca is it's in I forgot the place that it's in. Wow, I'm blanking right now. But it's that black cube. It might be in Israel. I'm gonna double check myself right here. But it's actually the black cube of Saturn, and it's plain in sight. Mecca, Satan's playground. I say Satan's playground because this realm that we live in, the third dimension of the physical, is Satan's playground. The avatar is Satan. The ego is Satan. That's just what it is. This world needs to go. I put that because this world that we currently reside in temporarily, it needs to go. All the pedos need to go. The sex trafficking needs to go. All that, it needs to go. But at the same time, it's always gonna be here because this is the place. That's just how I see it. This is the place for them, even though it's this is the place for those lower entities, lower frequency entities. This is the place for them, and they still hide in the shadows. So that's That's very bitch-like. That's very bitch-like. But even so, we're in the 3D. It still doesn't make it right. It still doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It still doesn't make those actions right. Those lustful actions right. Those acts that are true to their nature, it doesn't make it right, even though it's true to their nature. But that's just how things go. Secret meaning of pizza. Secret meaning of pizza, talking about the Pizzagate scandal. It's not really a scandal. It's a cover-up for pedophiles and children and just adrenochrome. And I believe that came out in 2009. Maybe it was for a Super Bowl party. That was the cover-up. But I mean, if you even see Obama at the Diddy parties. So, and you know what goes on at the Diddy parties with the 1,000 bottles of baby oil. It wasn't actually baby oil. It was adrenochrome. Hey, sit down. Sit down, lady. I love you, okay? We're gonna go on a walk. Just let me finish this up. And it was probably over 1,000. You know, it's just a cover up, the baby oil. And child protective services was involved. So some of the stories that I heard was that they would have babies, they would have babies, but kids on like a pinwheel, and they would spin it around, and whatever part it would land on when they threw the dart, that's what they would do to the kid. They had like the most malicious, lustful, ill-intentful acts that you can think of. Celebrities have done, politicians have done, and those executives above them and behind closed doors. Certain time manipulation. I put that because I believe that these beings that are controlled by the Vril parasites or astral leeches, they use CERN to jump timelines quantumly and to live out their timelines within this one. And so to make like it could be like releasing a phone or releasing a phone that has this app on it that'll control people further through their allowance. You know, it could be anything. The spectrum of color. I put the spectrum of color because the spectrum of color would be the ignorance that we see throughout our physical eyes, right? A good example that I was introduced to by Darius Harrison is the triangle with the white light going through it, and then it comes out the spectrum of color. The white light would be our consciousness, our higher self's consciousness. And then higher self being higher self, right? I was gonna say above the 3D, but higher self already puts it into perspective. And so the triangle and the black abyss being ourselves, or maybe you could say the triangle, the ego. That's a interesting perspective. The triangle being the ego because of a shape, shaping the interesting perspective. But then the white light going through the shape being the physical or the ego. I see it as the physical. And the spectrum of color going throughout. And even on the spectrum of color on that triangle, the colors are inverted, starting from, you know how the rainbow, the colors are, they start from red at the top, then yellow, then orange, then I believe it's green, green, blue, purple, and I may be wrong on my colors, but you're getting what I'm saying. Through that spectrum, damn, the wind is just going crazy. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm speaking louder, but I know you can hear me. Through the root chakra being at the top instead of the crown chakra, it's basically saying your nature, your ego's nature is what you should be following. in the sense of what you consider righteous in your truth. So if you enjoy, not me, no one should enjoy this, but there are beings that do enjoy trafficking kids and all that. That's at the top of their list. Beings who enjoy eating meat, beings who enjoy pleasuring their ego, flesh over spirit. Right, you got it. Evil, wretched sinners is the next one. Now, you can't sin because sinning is just a title. Having sex with your partner, showing affection, isn't sinful. Doesn't even make sense. It's just your ego's nature, and you are the deciding factor on what is righteous in your truth. So it's okay to have a piece of pizza. It's okay to have sex with your partner. It's okay to... What's another one? It's okay to curse. It's okay to... You know what I'm saying? It's okay to do these things. It's just... What are you doing behind closed doors? How are you balancing yourself? How are you balancing your higher self and lower self? How are you moving? Are you moving with intention for your future, or are you living for the now? Nothing wrong with living for the now, but I'm saying living for the now is in pleasing your ego. This one, it says Q, Project, Chronos, Decode. Maybe I shouldn't have put this one, but I liked Project, Chronos, Decode, because Chronos is the god of time. And so Project, god of time, Project Time, Decode. So through me putting that on the script, through myself choosing that title, by me choosing that title, Project Chronos, Project Time, Project Satan, Project Saturn, Saturn's cube, I am decoding it for you. But don't take what I say for with a grain of salt, and do your own research, because that's the one thing that I would tell you to actually listen to. You don't gotta listen to anything else besides that. Do your own research, because when you do your own research, you formulate your own truth. When you formulate your own truth, there's dust coming. There was a whole pile of dust coming. But when you formulate your own truth, that is your truth. Now you can speak on that with conviction, with certainty, with confidence. The perverts of heaven. And I say the perverts of heaven because the heaven, physically, heaven would be for these lower astral controlled entities, real drone substance controlled entities, or just beings who move with lust, who move with the root chakra being at the top. Hate-filled psychopaths. There are a bunch of hate-filled psychopaths. That's enough said. John was a false prophet. John D. Rockefeller. So I forgive myself for not explaining this to you, but forgive me for not saying this to you. The gematria basis was like what all the ciphers are upon. The sentence was, who are the Rockefellers? And so, interesting enough, we get John was a false prophet. John D. Rockefeller. That's what we're talking about the quote. I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers. So, someone else was the creator of the school system, but John D. Rockefeller and the Rockefellers were a big supporter of the General Education Board. I believe it was Horace something. Started with an M. Brain invading parasites. We're talking about real drone substances go through the eye, right? When you see panda eyes, that's when celebrities get the parasite within their eye. Now they're thinking like a reptilian through their lower consciousness. Also, I heard about the panda eyes being a certain what is the word? A certain blood, something being hit when these beings in those realms get fucked in the you know what I'm saying? Like I said, and they're behind. NFL Super Bowl 49, Patriots versus Seahawks. That's interesting that pops up, because sports in general, not only the NFL, the NBA, NHL, NBA, I said that, But all sports are scripted. All sports are scripted. I'm not judging the beings who find it entertaining, but I had enough. I stopped watching football. I was a 49ers fan. I stopped watching football last season. Beginning of last season, I stopped watching when the last thing I watched was when they went to the Super Bowl. And that was plain as day scripted. But yeah, so that's interesting that pops up. It's scripted through Freemasonic orders, and you know they place bets on it. They make money from it. It's a pyramid scheme in itself. Next one, Central Intelligence Agency. Agency was spelled Agencie, so it wasn't spelled correctly, but the point is still given. You know, it still spells out how it's spelled out. They can create words, they can create sentences, they can create spelling. Why can't we create it? What's the difference? Who's to say? Literally, who's to say? Reptilian overlords. Now, I used to believe in reptilians, like the actual reptilian, like green Bowser looking dude. I used to believe in that, but now I see it as a state of consciousness. Yes, they may exist in some form through inner earth, but it's not something I've seen. I've yet to astral project, so I cannot speak on that. Just being real, I cannot speak on that. But reptilian overlords, I see that as the real drone parasites that inhabits beings who are hollow within. There's a war in our heads. Now, not my head or your head, but there's a war. It's spiritual warfare all around us. It's spiritual warfare through the foods, through the school systems, like we're talking about, through the sky, through titles, the sun, the moon, the roads, phone. Just titles, spellcasting. It's spellcasting and titles. Sorry, 1 second. I'm speaking fast, and I'm still recovering from this virus that I had. And it's cold outside too. It's getting windier. What was I? I'm trying to stop saying. There's a war in our heads. Spiritual warfare everywhere. So titles are what formulate this false consciousness. What is the word called? Synthetic consciousness. Titles create synthetic consciousness. If you believe in them, and if you don't see through them, if you don't have this awakened, they faked the history. This is the next one. They faked the history. History is all scripted. History is all made up. History in itself is all made up. There's only now. If you read the Bible, you would understand that. Everything is now. And when I first realized that, I was like, whoa, like what? This is so mind-boggling, but it makes sense. It makes sense. To manipulate the masses, you gotta have a genius plan. What's that saying? Real recognize real? But I don't recognize that real as realness. I recognize that real as a virus. Skull and Bones emblem. Freemasonry. That popped up. all of these it's a work in progress, Justin. We're gonna get there. We're going to get there. Like everything, it takes time. Okay, but I need to instill that within myself. It's so instilled in there. Rosicrucians, Skull and Bones, Illuminati. What's the other one? Committee 300. There's so many. But they're just titles. They're not even real to themselves. They're all in the same group. They can have different titles, different names, but they're all in the same group. Vagus nerve and thiamine. I forgot to look up what thiamine is. So I'll put a little photo right here of what this actually is. But the vagus nerve I did look up. And that's what we're going to be talking about now. So what is the vagus nerve? The vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve and it originates in the brainstem, okay, and extends downward through the neck into your chest and abdomen. It branches out to the heart, lungs, liver, spleen, stomach, intestines, and kidneys. It is a critical part of the automatic nervous system, which regulates involuntary processes like heart rate, blood pressure, and respiration. I could not read what I wrote. I'm keeping a stat. ANS is automatic nervous system. Has two parts. The sympathetic nervous system, which owns the fight or flight response, prepares the body by increasing heart rate, redirecting blood flow to muscles, and releasing stress hormones. Okay, next. The parasympathetic nervous system. It involves the rest and digest response, helps body return to the state of calmness after stressful events. Okay, and so the vagus nerve plays a vital role in promoting relaxation, recovering, and digestion. Impact on physical health. There's impacts through the cardiovascular health, digestive health, immune system. So through the cardiovascular, high vagal tone. So I'll say vagal. Vagal. I'll say vagal. I may be wrong. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm admitting it now. But the vagal tone is basically how productive this nerve is. That's what it means, the vagal tone. High vagal tone is associated with lower resting heart rate, reduced blood pressure, and increased heart rate variability. My bad. Digestive health. Regulates the release of digestive enzymes, gastric acid, and bile. I looked up what bile was. It's basically like a certain type of fluid that resides within the gallbladder to help with digestion. Impaired vagal function can lead to various gastrointestinal issues, including acid reflux, gastroparesis, which is delayed stomach emptying, and irritable bowel syndrome. And last one, immune system regulation. The vagus nerve's role in modifying inflammation is a crucial aspect of its impact on your physical health. Chronic inflammation is a common underlying factor in many diseases, including autoimmune disorders, metabolic syndrome, and neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's disease. Next one, vagal tone. I bet my phone's gonna go. Vagal tone in your mental health. Vagal tone in your mental health. Okay, so stress and anxiety. High vagal tone is associated with a greater ability to recover from stress, increased heart rate, and muscle tension, promotes a state of relaxation. Low vagal tone is associated with high stress reactivity, lower ability to cope with stress, and chronic stress. Next one, depression. Lower vagal tone is linked to increased risk of depression associated with reduced parasympathetic nervous system activity and increased sympathetic nervous system dominance, which lead to depression, fatigue, sleep disturbances, gastrointestinal issues. Next one, cognitive function. Vagal influence, it influences attention, memory, and extensive function. High vagal tone has been linked to better cognitive function performance, self-regulation, and decision-making. Next, how to enhance your vagal tone, right? How to enhance your nervous system. We're basically talking about the nervous system. Deep breathing. So when you breathe, just meditating. You don't gotta always breathe like this, but it does help you keep you presently aware. So you wanna breathe through. It says diaphragmatic / belly breathing. So you wanna breathe right here. That's where you wanna breathe. So you wanna breathe in You can breathe in for 5 seconds, hold it for 4, let it go for 5. There you go, and now you're calm. This helps activate the vagus nerve, and it induces relaxation. Also, when you breathe through the abdominal area, it promotes awareness. It promotes being in the moment. It promotes consciousness. Meditation or mindfulness practices. Present moment awareness stimulates the vagal nerve, just like I said. Regular physical activity, running, stretching, jogging, playing with your dog, walking your dog, taking a walk, like I just said, taking a walk. Push-ups, crunches, sit-ups, jumping jacks, jump ropes, whatever you find that works for you. You don't gotta follow this whole workout routine. You can if you want to, like I'm saying, like going on YouTube, but it is good to follow a workout routine because I can't even say it right. It is good to follow a workout routine because then you have like this thing set for you that must be completed every single day, or whatever you manage that with. Exposure to cold. So taking cold showers are great for you because it shocks the nervous system and it wakes you up. Sorry, I'm looking around me right now. And social connection. So talking to other beings and experiencing their perspectives and optimizing that into your own, or just talking to beings in general. And that's kind of all we have for the notes, but I will talk a little bit more. It's getting colder, so this ain't gonna last too much longer, but if you are going through school, what I can say is just making the most of it. Easier said than done, but get something out of it. Make it, you should be trying to get something out of it. If you're going to college, what do you see your future as? What do you see your future self as? Is what you're studying what you want to study, what you want to do career-wise? Because it's cool to be a businessman, to do your own things, and everyone should. The future that we're going into, I already see it. If you're not doing these things, then you're going to be on the streets. Stop hitting my head. You're going to be on the streets. So, is this career linked into your passions? Yes or no? So, and with school, that does suck. I mean, try to talk to your parents. If you can get into online school, then that's cool. If you can't get into online school, make the most of it. In school, I would distance myself from others because I couldn't comprehend that thought, but I wasn't like the other kids in school. I wasn't down to bullshit. I wasn't down to smoke. I wasn't down to... Nothing wrong with smoking, but I wasn't just down to that consciousness. And I'm not saying I'm better than that, but I couldn't reside at that. So really just be yourself. Being yourself gets you to where you want to be at. That's as simple as that. If you follow trends, if you follow occultic orders, you're following, like what I just said, you're following occultic orders. And you're just going to be a background character in your own life. So that's it. That's it for this video. Look at this beautiful view. This is my little setup right here. That's me and my girl's van. We saved up for that. That was another one of our manifestations. Putting money aside. Yeah, you can say, oh, it's just money. But money is energy. That's energy. So we're putting aside energy to manifest our dreams, our goals, our aspirations, our visions. And there's my little old lady right there. That's my for life. That's my forever. That's my forever. Say what's up, girl. Anyways, though, I'm about to go walk her for a little bit. It's freezing though, so it won't be too long, but Yeah, man, I love y'all. You know, this is the beginning of a journey, not only for myself but for you. I want the best for you. I want you to succeed in life. I want everyone to succeed in this community. It's a big step for me because I used to have trouble talking to the camera. I used to not even be able to formulate a sentence. But then just with time and time again, just trying, just talking to myself, I'm here now. But where I'm at now is not where I want to be at. But I'm still though, I'm proud of myself for being where I'm at, because now I'm able to talk to myself. I'm able to talk to myself and formulate my thoughts. Not to the level that I want to, but I'm getting there. And I want that for you too. I want you to be able to talk to yourself. I want you to be able to express your thoughts to others. I want you to be able to just grow and just thrive. But peace and abundance to you. Love you. Have a great day. Peace.